Hi, we meet again, all my inspirational tea sippers. This is Shantara, and I am back with another video, a more serious video. But today is April the 25th. It is 10:28 p.m. and a day book of prayer. Today's scripture comes out of Luke 9:40. It says, "And I begged your disciples to cast it out, and they could not." And then the bottom of the prayer says, "Lord, when I do not spend time with you, my faith falters. I want to be victorious in my spiritual life. So teach me to spend time on my knees." Amen. So prayer is very, very important, and it incorporates with what I want to talk about tonight. When you are praying and when you are in tune with God, He reveals certain things. He tells you to do certain things, spontaneous things. So tonight I am going to start my If These Walls Could Talk series. So this If These Walls Could Talk, I'm going to be talking about some things that goes or have went on inside of my home, or some things that I'm going through, or things that have happened, me, my kids, my husband, or whatnot. Now, I know a lot of people may say, keep what goes on behind your home closed doors, and keep behind, that didn't even make sense. Keep what goes on in your home behind closed doors, and kind of don't put it out there. But I just believe that I am wired this way, and God has wired me this way. I'm an extrovert, and I just want to talk about some things that goes on, or that has went on behind these walls. So if these walls could talk, they would tell you that my 11-year-old daughter, we were just getting home. Well, I was just bringing the baby home from the hospital. And like I told you guys, he had a feeding tube, and it was very new to me. My other two births, they were fine, so I didn't have to deal with the sickness and the feeding and all that. So I had a ton of meds that I was given, feeding tubes and all that. So I was very, very overwhelmed. My husband was working, and I'm at home with the baby. So we had Wi-Fi, and my daughter didn't have a phone. Wait, let me go back. I did tell my daughter that I was going to tell this story, and I talked to her, and I asked her how would she feel about it, and she kind of shrugged her shoulders, and I just told her that it's very important that we tell our story and we get it out there instead of keeping things behind closed doors, like it might help somebody else. So she knows I'm telling this story, and she learned from it. And anyway, so I'm overwhelmed. I'm bringing the baby home, and at this time I had one of my old phones, and we had Wi-Fi, and of course my baby girl there on the laptop or whatever. I was so overwhelmed, I kind of pushed the electronics off on them, like, okay, yeah, go watch your stuff, go watch your YouTube channels, and you know what I mean, Tariana plays her games or whatnot. So yeah, go ahead, because I'm with the baby, I'm overwhelmed, I'm trying to keep up with meds, I'm feeding tubes, all that. So before I give her this phone, it's not actually on, but if you have Wi-Fi, you can still access like Musically and Facebook and all that stuff. So we talked about what I expected, what she was supposed to be doing on the phone, what she knew not to do. There is no Facebook, there is no Instagram, but I told her the Musically thing, that was okay. The little snippets, a few seconds dancing or whatever, as long as it's appropriate. You're not listening to any disrespectful music. No cussing, no none of that, no lick me, suck me, none of that. It's not allowed. So this is what they already know. So we laid the ground rules. She knew, okay, there it is. But I'm not really keeping an eye on it or whatever, but I know she's in there doing the musically things when I'm checking on her or whatever. So at this time too, I told you guys in one of my stories that my family had been devastated by a situation that happened. So I'm on the phone with my cousin a lot of the times, like on the phone for hours and hours, just trying to get through, you know, a situation. So I'm not really, the electronics, just to be honest, the electronics is kind of keeping them away so that I can do what I'm doing. We got the family issue here that's so traumatizing and devastating, and I got my baby that I just had. That's another situation, and then trying to deal with the kids and all of this. So I knew that she was on Musically. So she was on Musically or whatever. And so one night I'm on the phone, and it's really late. I think it was a weekend. Weekends, I don't really give them like curfew, or they don't have to be in bed at a certain time. It's the weekend. We up, we chilling, we hanging out. Stay up as late as you want. They usually sleep in late, so we're good. So my heart is pounding and I'm nervous. But so she's on Musically. Look, I'm even shaking. And okay, so I'm telling the story. I know she's on Musically, this, that, or the other. So one night I'm on the phone late with my cousin. It was like 12 something. And the Lord tells me, get up and go check on your children. And I'm like, huh? Get up and go check on your children. You know that soft little voice behind in the back of your mind? Soft. Get up and just go check on your kids. So I get up and I go check on the girls, and they're coming out of the bathroom with the phone. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And she was like, oh, nothing, Terriana was taking a picture or whatever. So I'm like, okay, what are you doing? You know, like, show me the phone. Let me see what's going on. Let me look at the pictures and all this and that. So I'm looking at the pictures, and there's like nothing explicit, but she's bending down with like an oversized shirt. And I'm like, that picture looks inappropriate. You know, you're not showing anything, but why are you bending down, squatting in a corner? You know what I mean? Like with an oversized shirt on, with no shorts, with just your underwear and a big oversized shirt. I'm like, that's inappropriate. Whoop, whoop. So that led to me, let me see the phone, let me go through it, let me see what you're doing. Whoop, 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 whoop. So she's trying to go through the phone, and she's like, you're gonna be upset at me or whatever. I'm like, let me see what is on the phone. So she's trying to go through and fumble and delete or whatever, and I'm like, give me the phone. So I go through the phone, and and it is messages from like these guys. Like one of the guys, it was like high five, and it had like a little hand wave, and they were saying like, you know, we need to see a little bit more, and I hope you're not telling your parents about these about me messaging you, and I hope that you're deleting everything. And they're asking her like, are you shy? And I hope not. And you know, like how old are you? And I think she told him she was like 13 or something like that, or 12. Yeah, you know, we like little girls, and please don't let your parents know, like, you know, that we're talking or whatever. Delete the messages and like all of this stuff that he said. And she's like, well, yeah, I'm a little shy or whatever. And it wasn't like an explicit conversation, but the guy was acting like he was in a three-way conversation. Like he was telling her like, well, I'm gonna send this picture to someone else, and he wants to see a little bit more. Or when she sent the picture, he was like, he said that he wanted to see a little bit more, and you could tell she wasn't really comfortable with sending it because she didn't send it, just the oversized shirt with her kind of squatting down. But he was just like, you know, what do you do, and where do you live, and where the other, and this and that and this and that. And I was so taken aback that, because I never would have thought, or I never believed that she would have done something like that. Like I trusted her, like she's very mature. But the Bible also says, when I was a child, I thought as a child. And when I became a man, I put away my childish thoughts. So she's a kid. You know what I mean? She's a kid. She got a little bit more freedom. She see mom's occupied. I'm in here, you know, dealing with the family issue and dealing with the baby. So I'm not really on it like that. You know what I mean? So you're a kid. You're going to do kid things. And you were manipulated, and you were, yeah, so after I'm going through the messages or whatever, we talk, I'm screaming. I am so upset. I'm shaking. I just cannot believe. You just blatantly did what I asked you not to do. You knew everything from the phone. You knew what was so I ended up breaking the phone, threw it in the trash, and she got the whooping of her life. Like, she got a really, really good whooping. I whooped the crap out of that girl because come on now, you were, and phones have like locations or whatever. And I told her, after I whooped her, I went to my room and I just began to pray and cry out to God because I was so, because it looked like the next step was for her to get kidnapped. Like, that's how the conversations were going. Like, it was leading up to, you know what I mean? Like, okay. And so I just began to cry out to God. Like, I felt like, as a mom, I felt like the biggest failure ever in life. Like, I could not eat, I could not sleep. I just could not believe that this happened. Like, something could have happened to my baby. Like, something could have happened to my baby. And I was just so torn, like so broken. Like, I felt like I missed the mark. I felt like, I was a bad mom. I felt like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? So I'm crying, I'm praying to God. I could not come out of my room. I'm just on my face like, Lord have mercy. Like, thank you, Lord. You know what I'm saying? But I just felt so bad and so broken. And she in there crying. My husband is, and I'm just like, like, what the heck? And so after I calmed down or whatever, so we talked, and this went on to like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm just telling her, I didn't apologize for whooping her, but I did apologize for failing her as a parent. You know what I mean? For allowing them to just be in there on the electronics and not taking them out the room at a certain time and just not being on top of it. And we were asking her, like, what is it? Why did you have to seek to go here? And she was just like, I want to spend more time. I want to be able to do more things with you guys. And I want to spend more time with daddy, and like, we can do more things together and stuff like that, is what she was saying. So she knew what she had did, and she ended up apologizing to me about what she did, and she knew she was wrong. And I told her about, how she endangered her sister, and how phones have locations, and how people could possibly know where you are. And we just went through the whole thing. And my husband ended up taking her outside and talking to her, and me and my husband got into a big fight because it's like, I can't raise these kids on my own. You know what I mean? Like, I need you here interacting also. Like, we have to be a team. So he went outside and he was talking to her or whatever. But that's what happened. And right as of now, there is no phone. I just feel like, she wasn't ready. You know what I mean? Like, you're too young. You don't need to be exposed to that type of stuff, the internet, the whatever. You're not. So she already knows she's not allowed to have a phone, internet access and stuff like that. And then every electronics that we have here in the home is all synced together. Like, if you type in something, or if you Google something, or if you watch something on YouTube, it'll pop up on my phone, it'll pop up on my husband's phone, it'll pop up on every TV or every device that we have in this house. He has it all synced together. So whatever you're typing in, whatever you're Googling, whatever, it gives you the time, the date and all of that stuff, the time that you were on the computer and all that. So we keep an eye on what the kids are doing, what they're watching. And I just have a really, a better eye on the girls, and just not allowing them to be on the phone. And we're out more when we can because of the weather. Living here in Reno, we're out more, we're taking walks, we're talking, we're spending that time together, because I do not want something like that to happen and I missed the mark, and I took her to Walmart and I showed her the pictures of all the girls on the board, and like, this is how it happens. You get on the phone, you sneaking around, you talking to boys, which wasn't a boy, they were men. And come to find out, I think my sister ended up sending me a link, and I opened up the link, and it happened to a 7-year-old who was using her dad's phone. And he was telling the little girl to show me your chi-chis and lift up your skirt and all that. She was on Musical.ly. So what I'm saying is, these predators and pedophiles, they set up these like messaging apps, and they can message your kids through Musically. Like the app will just pop up and somebody will just say, "Hi, honey," or "Hi, sweetie," or "Hi, cutie," or whatever. And they can respond back on the Musically app. And so instead, I didn't call the police. I wasn't even thinking about that at this time. This particular parent ended up calling the police. The police get to the house. They ended up doing an investigation and all that. Do you know there was between, if I'm not mistaken, 20 to 30 guys or predators that they caught doing the same thing, trying to messaging these young girls and just trying to seduce them, and to start to get these girls kidnapped and lured. And it's like, my baby was one of the ones who it was just like so close. Like that was the next step. So they ended up doing this thing and they caught all these other people and predators and all this stuff. So what I'm saying is, be mindful of what these kids are doing. They're kids. You know what I mean? Check the phones. Do it pop-ups. Do it randomly, making sure that they don't know when you're going to do it if your kids do have a phone, because she's not getting a phone until she hits the 9th grade, maybe 8th grade graduation, because right now she's just working on proving herself and me watching her maturity and stuff like that. So there is no phone for her at all. She don't have a phone. You're not able to have a phone. And I told her, use this as a testimony. When you see your other friends on Musically or they're showing you different things, let them know what happened to you. Don't be so embarrassed about it. Yes, this is something that happened. You had a consequence to it. It is what it is. We all learned from it. I learned from it. My husband learned from it. She learned from it. It was just a learning lesson that happened in between our walls. And I'm so thankful for it, because had I just not listen to the voice of the Lord and just continue to allow them, who knows, what would have happened. But I'm saying, like, these kids are not really, and I'm not saying all kids, you know what I mean? Like, there are some mature kids that you can trust to get on there and you only watch appropriate things on YouTube and you only do certain things. But the majority of these kids, they are not mature enough, they are not equipped, and they are not ready to handle the things that can happen over this internet. Kids are coming up missing every day. We are living in a world to where it's getting worse and worse. You read the book of Revelation, we are actually living in it right now. It's prevalent. Monsters. Satan is roaming this earth, seeking whom he may devour. And if he can devour your child, he has no limits. He has no limits. So what I'm saying to you guys as parents, to be more aware, be more involved, check the messages, look in the phones with these kids, check to see what type of conversations that they're having with their kids, and make sure they're not cussing and talking about different boys and licking and sucking and all that. Make sure that your kids are not doing this. If they do have phones, make sure that it's a friendly environment. If you can know how to sync it all and link everything together to where you know what they're watching and you know what they're doing, please, please, please do so. Kids have phones at a young age, 7, 8, 9. All it takes is one mistake to type in something and you looking at something that you have no business. And like I was talking to one of my sisters from church, and then the enemy plants that seed. He plants that seed because you have no business, and now you're exposed to something that you have no business being exposed to, and you're not ready. And because you're a child, you don't know how to process it. So now it begins to turn into something that is totally, totally, totally off the wall and totally, totally, totally just not what it's supposed to be. But I just wanted to get this story out here and just talk about it. Like, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed of my faults. I'm not ashamed of my shortcomings. I really do pray that the Lord blesses this video and that, you know what I mean? You just take heed to what I'm saying. If you're being lax, or if, you know what I mean, you're using this phone because you work a lot and we get tired, and it's kind of like, because that's what I was doing. It allowed them to kind of, okay, do your thing so that I can, at least pray a little bit or take a shower or deal with the baby and all of that. But what I'm saying is, we have to stop and pay attention to our kids and look and see what they are doing, especially on these phones. What type of conversation are you having with your friends? What are you guys saying back and forth? What type of pictures are you taking? What type of pictures are you sync the phones. That way, if they delete it, you still know where they're at, you know, what they're on, what they're doing, what they've typed in, what they've searched, all of that. You need to know. You need to be aware. It's part of your responsibility and duty as a parent or as a guardian to protect your children to the best of your knowledge and the best way you know how. And that is, if your children have phones and they are not old enough and they're younger, you have to be involved. You have to. You have to. You have to, without them knowing. Because if they know you're going to go through the phones, of course they're going to delete everything. But if they don't know what's going on and you come through one day and just snatch their phone and you don't have time to delete nothing or anything like that, you need to genuinely know what they're doing. That way you can nip that in the bud, correct that mistake, and move forward from there so that your child is not another person coming up missing or being, you know what I'm saying, or something happening with them in this world that we're living in. So if these walls could talk, they would tell you that my daughter was involved with some predators on a Musical.ly app, and most likely from the messages it looked like she could have probably been, you know, next to come up missing or something happened to her. And I just cannot believe it, but I'm so thankful for God. I'm so thankful for prayer. I'm so thankful. That's why it's so important to pray and just ask God to give you wisdom and guidance. And I always ask him to show me how to be a mother, show me how to be a better sister, show me how to be a better, you know, wife, show me how to be a better communicator, and give me wisdom. And he does that. He really truly does that. He does it. He does it. He does it. He keeps you informed on these kids. He lets you know what's going on. He will give you hints. He will give you inklings. But it's up to us to pay attention and to just know what is going on with these kids, because these phones and the things that they are getting into on these phones is way beyond what they can even think, dream, or imagine. So that is my first series of If These Walls Can Talk. I pray that this video blesses you. Share this video, please. If you know you have other friends with littler kids or little, you know, youngins. My daughter is 11. You know, that mid-age to where, you know, they can be deceived and manipulated. So share this video, like this video, and I pray that this video bless you in some way. It is what it is. This is my story. This is what happened. You know, we learned from it. We really did. And I was shaken up by it. And I just thank God for each and every situation. And what the enemy intended for bad, God always turns it around for good. And I'm just so thankful. Thankful. I'm so thankful. So I'm tired. Been running around after this little boy all day. But I pray that you guys be inspired. Inspire. Until next time, God bless you. Good night.